The Beirut explosion was an event of apocalyptic scale. I work and live near the port where it took place, and my life was miraculously spared, like tens of thousands others who were in the neighborhood. After the initial shock of seeing my house and clinic destroyed and making sure that loved ones and neighbors were okay, the instinct was to see how we can help others. No one knew the magnitude of the damage and the number of victims initially, so I drove in the dark to my clinic over shattered glass and rubble to suture some victims, mostly friends, as hospitals were overflowing with more severe victims and couldn't accommodate them. The clinic facade was severely damaged, and fortunately, we still had electricity, so my team and I could take care of them. The next day, we announced on our social media that the clinic was open for stitching the victims, gave wound care instructions, and invited everyone to get their sutures removed and to get laser treatments at no charge to help erase their scars. You know, a scar is for life, and the psychological trauma of seeing these scars on oneself or others on a daily basis is immense, and one never gets used to it. People with scars, particularly on the face, lose their self-confidence and are often depressed. The consequences on their daily lives, relations, and work are very significant. People with scars are less likely to be attractive and may be less likely to make friends, find a spouse, or be hired for a job. Even worse, the explosion occurred a few months after the banking collapse in Lebanon, when most people saw most of their savings vanish and the Lebanese lira had lost much of its value. Also, most were uninsured and had barely money to cover life's essentials, let alone have laser for their scars. This also came in the middle of the COVID pandemic. It was very saddening to see those victims, young and older, ambitious people coming alone or with their family members with deep disfiguring lacerations. But it was very rewarding to feel that we were giving them hope that their scars would fade away. We knew that erasing a physical scar will help those victims somewhat deal with their trauma, help them forget the hardship of what they went through, the loved ones they lost, and help them in the journey of moving on with their lives. Each case received at least a half dozen sessions. For many victims, the scars were too deep or too extensive that we could only soften them. But for others, we were able to erase them well. These people are very grateful today, as the laser has helped them recover and rebuild their lives.
Hi, my name is Dalia Hunani, and I was severely injured in the Beirut port explosion. I was left with severe injuries. All my injuries were down to the bone. My face was so deformed that my face fell off. I actually felt it fall off. Post-op, I waited a few months, and then I needed to start treatment to actually take away all the scarring. And I came to Dr. Danny Touma in the skin clinic. And honestly, beyond just the treatment of the laser, the compassion that I was received with, the care. Dr. Danny Touma was treating all patients for 6 months pro bono from his heart. That alone made me feel better. And then when we started the treatments, it was hard at the beginning. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I actually felt like I might give up. I stuck with it. And within a few months, the difference started to show bit by bit. And today, obviously, I'm okay and much better because of the treatments that I received here.
We as dermatologists treat underprivileged patients pro bono all the time. But I personally have an immense sense of gratitude for having helped those victims in the best way I could, which is sharing my laser experience along with my team of colleagues and staff. It is one of the highlights of my career to have been able to give back and help touch dozens of people's lives in the way we did. I just wish we could do it at a bigger scale. I hope this work will be recognized and the award will be used to help other patients with debilitating scars or disfiguring birthmarks who cannot afford the cost of long and expensive treatments. My name is Dr. Danny Touma, dermatologist and dermatologic surgeon.